Okay, I'm live. So I was watching this title on YouTube, and it was Your Enemies Have You Under Spiritual Attack. So that had me thinking, okay, I'm under a spiritual attack. So what is a spiritual attack? And the Bible says we fight not against flesh and blood, but against principalities in high and low places. So then I'm wondering to myself, okay, what is spiritual and spirituality? Because a lot of people say, I'm a spiritual person. But now I realize that that is not always a positive thing. Being a spiritual person can be a negative thing too, because if you're fighting against spirituality in high and low places, why would you be fighting against something that's spiritual? I thought spiritual was good, but this is really about fighting against different types of spirits that can be demonic spirits. So I'm thinking, oh, I'm a spiritual person. I'm People know I'm good. I'm good, right? But now I'm like, okay, somebody can come up to me and say, yeah, I'm a spiritual person. But they're up in there like worshiping the devil or something. And that's what they consider spiritual. So don't be tricked by the word spiritual, because that's not necessarily a good thing. Once you pick that verse apart, you see that, right? So this is about fighting against demonic people, demonic things, a spiritual warfare, a fight against the evil forces and demons. So that's why these people are empty vessels that can be used by Satan. Now, my thing is, oh, these people are just empty inside. My thing is, if you let Satan use you as a vessel, something's wrong with you. That's to me, that's the spiritual disorder within you. You have a spiritual disorder. It's not just, you know, fallen, you know, uh, particles jumping into you. I don't think so. I feel like you're allowing that. The reason why Satan is working through you, and especially repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly, you're the one doing this to this person. You're doing this evil. You're doing that evil. You continue to do this. You have allowed Satan to use you. Just like you can allow God to use you to be a blessing to people, to be a service to people, you are allowing Satan to use you. So I hold you partly, a big part, responsible for that. I'm not excusing you because you're just an aloof person not knowing what's going on, and you're just, I feel like that's a rare case, because if that keeps happening, you should eventually figure it out, right? So I don't know. Being under a spiritual attack is just like also more. It's like witchcraft being done against you. I feel like that's a huge form of being under a spiritual attack. You have the everyday people who are just like effing with you, setting you up, causing problems, or just little things to irritate you. But I feel like a real big part of spiritual attack is when they're doing like witchcraft against you. They're like outside your door in their car while you're sleeping, and they're like praying, upon you and doing all this weird stuff. They're coming out at night. They have these rituals where it's like every time you leave or say, I'm going to go get something to eat, they're like, vroom, vroom. You know what I'm saying? Like they have these signals that they're trying to use to trigger you every single time. Like that's a huge form of witchcraft. I realized that. I showed you guys that picture of my neighbors during Halloween, how they had the graveyard, and it was just some real wickedness going on. And in my opinion, everybody else could see it as just like, oh, it's basic. But the fact that when I had called the patrol on those people, and he mentioned my best friend's name. And, the way these people were like kind of stalking me outside, every time I would eat outside, they would come outside. The way that they would just like be talking loud at night. Every time I would get ready to fall asleep, they would come outside. And then the graveyard, it was just like, and it was like, I'm a goner, and had little messages on it. It was just like this witchcraft they were using. It was like some weird stuff. Like, you just know mentally that these people are doing some weird type of thing. So, and then I would say there's other people who easily get possessed by these demons. And it's just like, I just don't have pity for you too much, because I feel like you're letting them, right from wrong, good from bad. So you're letting these people, you're letting these entities use you. You're enjoying that. Like, how I would enjoy if God was allowing me to be like Oprah Winfrey and give 1,000 people cars. Like, I'm allowing God to use me in a positive way. Just like I could, be somebody who, goes around destroying people's tires when they're asleep at night. That would be allowing the devil to use me. So it's like, no. And then principalities, that's just like, that could be anybody of any position, but it almost makes it sound like it's royal, right? But like a royal wickedness, like a royal wicked person, somebody who has this power, but they're a malicious, devious prick. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're not like royally righteous and, a person of royal honor. They're like the complete opposite, like the Wicked Witch of Oz. You know what I'm saying? So, and then every time you get blessed and every time you get blessings, I just think that it's kind of hilarious because they literally start melting away. Every time you get a blessing, the wicked people start melting. You know what I'm saying? Every time you do better in life and you do good, the wicked people start melting. And it's like you're completely diminishing them every time you do better if they're not for you. And so what happens is when you start getting to such a higher status and you start growing so great, you're literally killing them inside because they need to see you struggle. They need to see you lack. And so when you get to a higher place, when you get everything set, that's when they try the most to knock you down because they literally can't take it anymore. So this is when these people will try to be after your life. They'll try to take your money. They'll try to control everything that you do. And then ultimately, yeah, they'll try to kill you because they're literally dying. They're literally the Walking Dead. Like I said, they're literally dying because of your blessings. And they're terrified of your success because they're egotistical and they want to be better than you. And like I said, your success is literally killing them. It's literally killing them. And that's why some of these people kill people if they can, because you're getting a check. You're getting something free that they're not getting. You're shining bright and they're not shining bright. They're dying inside. They're dying inside of your success. Your mere sunshine that illuminates off of your face is just, it just fucking, oh, I'm not supposed to cuss. It's just like killing them. So that's why they have to attack you. They have to call you stupid. They have to call you a fool. They have to throw these stones at you because, and that's okay. Let them throw stones at you because eventually God will throw lightning at them. So just let it be what it is. Because like I said, the vengeance of the Lord is greater than any revenge that a person could give. So also, the reason why bad things happen to good people is because God has to convict some people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's a horrible thing. But at the end of the day, some people are just destined to go to hell. It was predestined. God knew their ways. God knew they were destined to go to hell. God always going to give you a chance. But those people put themselves in hell mentally. Just the fact that they're tortured by your success, they've already put themselves in hell. Who is tortured by someone's success? That's somebody who's already burning in hell, right? So bad things happen to good people because God has to convict some people to go to hell. That's just how it is. They're going to hell. It might be that one thing that they did to somebody for absolutely no reason, and that could have been the last straw that God had with them. And now God has decided, I'm going to condemn you to hell because you did this to my beloved son. You did this to my beloved daughter. You did this to my child, a child of God. So now that's it. The way you turned against that person when they were on their when they needed help, the way you turned against that person when they were in a vulnerable state is the way that God will possibly turn on you when it's time for judgment day. God says, he has said before that I know you not. Just imagine how that feels to be in the presence of the greatest king, the king of all kings, and to be being judged, and you're begging for a place in heaven, and you're thinking about, oh God, he is real. All the things that you've done so horribly wrong, and he's telling you how he tried to show you so much, and then he's like, just like, I know you not. And then he turns around and then you fall down to the pits of hell. Like, that's enough to make me want to do the right thing. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be stupid. I'm not going to go around trying to do horrible things to people when there's a possibility. And then people are like, okay, God's not real. You have those atheists, right? But it's just like, the spiritual battle for me isn't that, debatable, because it's like the simple fact that if there is a God, I'm not going to play with that. I'm not going to play with that. Sorry. It's not going to happen. And plus, there's things that I have seen in life as a child, and, that have always made me believe that there was a God and that nobody could ever change my mind at this point. There's nothing you can do. Hear me out, gang stalkers and people who want to try to turn me to the wicked side. This has been planted in me since I was a little kid. There is absolutely nothing. The worst things could happen because the worst things have happened. But there is nothing that you can do that would make me not believe in God. There's nothing you can do. So that's a worthless fight. It's a worthless fight. Like, it's not gonna happen. I've seen too much. I've seen enough. I can't tell you why other people haven't seen certain things, but I would take it as an opportunity to listen to other people who have, and who have testimonies. But then, the wicked spiritual people, they take it as an opportunity just to get jealous. Why haven't I seen it? Why blah 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 blah? Okay, well, why didn't I fall in a hot pit of water? Do you want to go try to do that too? Like, everything isn't going to happen to you. But listening to other people, maybe the testimony for you is that I listened to this person, I believed in their story, and I never turned away from God that moment after. I just believed. I just believed. That's a beautiful story, right? I just believed. So, yeah, so watch out really for that spiritual thing. When somebody says I'm spiritual, you can hit them up with that quote. We fight against spiritual wickedness and high lows. But what type of spiritual are you? Are you up in there worshiping God in heaven, or are you up there worshiping something else down below? Because You know, one thing I think that you people that are being gang stalked like me really need to fight, because that one scripture that says, "Let it be on earth as it is in heaven." Think about that. Who's doing the right thing and the wrong thing? Because I know in heaven I shouldn't be getting bullied, and I know in heaven I shouldn't be getting gang stalked. So, but if so, look, we're people like, oh, YOLO. What is it really YOLO though? Because am I going to be fighting battles as an angel? If I'm an angel, am I going to be fighting battles as a child of God in the afterlife? Like, we only live once. How do you know? Please tell me. How do you know we only live once? Because after all I've read, quite frankly, it doesn't sound like it. Sounds like it's kind of infinite. So if y'all know something that I don't know, let me know. But I mean, maybe if you're in hell and your face is stuck to, and your face is stuck to a wall, you can't fight. But I don't know. I really don't know how it works. And I can't, just put everything out there like that. That I can't really say that I've experienced. But I also know that people have been persecuted just for having visions and just for having dreams, because that's also been in the Bible. So I'm reluctant in sharing everything that I've seen and everything that I've experienced, because if it's meant, you'll have your own experiences. And people drop hints here and there, but I'm not going to just share every little detail with people, because some people are envious of those type of things as well. So you just have to collect as much information as you can. But yeah, so that spiritual wickedness thing that we're fighting with, that spiritual warfare, the best way to fight it is, if you look at my categories of my playlist with the seven senses, is to have on the full armor of God. I did that like a couple years ago in 2018. So you have to have the helmet of salvation. And I think the helmet of salvation is quite interesting, because that's already shielding you from death itself. So the first armor that God tells you is the helmet of salvation, to be saved. Before you start getting out there and fighting these demons, make sure you have eternal life. You live forever. You believe in God. Death is not an option for you, even if people cannot see you here. You have salvation. The breastplate of was it the breastplate of righteousness? To be righteous, to be a good person, to do the right thing. Simple. Be righteous. Do the right thing, not self righteous. Be righteous. Because if you're out here doing the wrong thing, well, I know you don't have that breastplate of armor. To be girdled with the truth. Don't be out here lying. I know you ain't got that. I know you ain't got that, girl. Uh-huh. So you can look at people, you can examine people and see what armor they have and what armor they don't have. Just see how they're acting, and you can find out what they're missing, huh? So yeah, so put on and he said, don't miss nothing. He said put on the full armor, because what's having the breastplate of righteousness, girdle with the truth. I'm sorry, yeah, the helmet of salvation, and all the other good things. I would have to look it up again. And then you're missing something. You're missing the helmet of salvation. Or you got all that, but you a liar. So people can't even trust your testimonies, because it's like, oh yeah, you got all this, but you lie all the time. You don't got the truth. Or you got the truth. You supposedly got salvation, but you always doing the wrong thing. You ain't righteous. It just doesn't make sense. God said put on the full armor. If it was something that you could skip and something that you could miss, he would have said, if you could only have but one of these, right? If you could have but only one of these, that's what he would have said if the other ones weren't necessary. But I know one thing: faith is small as a mustard seed. He said that'll get you a long way. That'll get you a long way. So you could start off by, I would start off with that salvation, and then go behind and get that faith. And then everything else, what you got to do is you got to triple, double Dutch, whatever it is. You got to get them. You got to get them at the same time. You got to work on everything at the same time. Okay, well, I hope that helped you guys out, and I hope y'all saw something that y'all haven't seen before and heard something that y'all have never heard before. And I will see you guys later. Bye.